all of the things. Oh, I don't want to. I'm accidentally selling Bill Cosby.
Accident. I think that was definitely what you were going for.
That was not what I was going for. I was trying to express myself.
Heavily influenced by Bill Cosby.
I'm totally influenced by Bill Cosby. I mean, I cannot lie about that.
There's no shame in that.
Yeah, that's undeniable.
That was a thing.
That was a thing we lived through.
A big thing.
It really did happen. Hey, Juju Beans. How you doing, sis? That's my sis from Richmond back in the day. JPS representation in the house. What it do? We have been gone a long time, as they say, but for good reason, because we got things to do. We got lives to live, and we ain't making no money off this shit like talking about. I got a real job. Mel's got a real job. We got real kids. We got real things. This is a public service to you. This is something we do from the bottom of our hearts. So because we care about the world and about what you're thinking and about the shit that's going in your head. So you're welcome. You're welcome. Here we are again. Oh my God. It is March the 15th. I have to look that up. I should know that. It's payday. Payday is always, I like to call it Yay Day. That's right. It's the one day when the master does something for you. Isn't that nice? It's always a nice thing. So, anyways, I'm Yaze.
I'm Melissa.
Yes, and we are your co-hosts with Woke with Kids. And we're a podcast that likes to get together every once in a while, every blue moon, and talk about politics.
For real talk.
Yeah, every blue moon, whenever the spirit strikes.
When we can get it together.
When we can get it together.
You know, the struggle is real.
The struggle is so real, y'all.
And when it's not real, we're doing self-care. So, you know.
Yeah.
Keep it balanced. So it's not always a struggle. I'm not really about that struggle life anymore, to be honest.
Me neither. I'm about balance and harmony inside of myself and
I'm
externally
leveling up,
and internally. Yeah.
And this new level has less struggle, which, total side note, but.
No, go into it.
I've been following Oprah's mini class. Okay, she has her podcast, Super Soul Sunday. She has her guests. And then she had like a side Super Soul Sunday, which was a 10-part special with Eckhart Tolle, which I wasn't really into him per se. I knew he wrote The Power of Now, and he talked funny because he has a heavy accent. And then I caught one episode, like episode 5, and it had me like bawling while I was driving on the 101. Like, damn, this motherfucker might know what he's talking about.
Really?
And she
about?
was going into, well, that's a whole nother thing. I can't even get into it. But
sure.
He was going through, is that alive?
What do you mean?
That big bug.
Oh, yeah, big, beautiful Mothra. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's just been chilling there for like an hour. He's been chilling there for like, I'm not fucking with him. He's good.
Whoa, he's
not
right
bothering
there.
me.
Okay, he's cool. Yeah. Sorry. They were going into the book, A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose, and it has 10 chapters. So he was there to then elaborate, and like everyone could read along, and then each week they would talk about the chapters. And it was really quite fascinating because it talks about the ego and rising above, identifying and how, and the basically the ego state that most people live in, and especially here in America, we identify who we are with our stuff and what we do and our roles and all this stuff, and how that really isn't who we truly are. And when we do that, we only cause suffering. And he breaks it down each week and then tells you like how to get out of it, basically by focusing on the present moment, et cetera, et cetera. It was fascinating. So it really kind of helped me shift. I'd already been thinking about it, but to really identify how every time I felt like I was struggling, it almost always was because whatever the quote unquote conflict was my ego feeling some kind of way about the situation, where if I shifted my perspective and focused on the present moment and took my ego out of the center of it and realized that's not really who I am, maybe this is an experience that I'm going through, but this is not necessarily who I am at my core, it really didn't feel like a struggle. It was just a challenge. But I have these tools because that's not the core of who I am, so I don't have to break down feeling like I'm falling and flailing and failing.
Oh, man, I dig that.
That's basically but I highly encourage, if that even makes remote sense, then you are on the path to awakening and you might be interested in the book. I don't have time for that, but I did have the hour once a week to listen to Oprah sit down with Eckhart and talk about the chapter and highlight things. And then they would take calls with people who had questions and be like, okay, Eckhart, on page da-da-da-da-da, you say ba-da-da-da-da. And he'd be like, okay, what I mean is this. Or they'd be like, well, what about in this situation? He'd be like, okay. And he basically was there and able to answer and address, you know, what was coming up as people were going through the text. It was quite wonderful. And so if you feel like you are dealing with a lot of struggle, I highly suggest you go to her Super Soul Sunday podcast and look at the ones that are specifically going through the book with him, A New Earth. And it will, I think, if you're open to it, begin to shift your perspective and lessen that feeling of struggle in your life.
Right on. Well, that's a solid endorsement. I'm with that. You know, you can't, I mean, the woke is the political, it's the spiritual, it's the whole thing. So we're giving you the whole package. Personally, as a being who is completely awakened and totally enlightened and completely in touch with myself, and still managing to fuck up every day, because I know there are a lot of me out there. If this message is for you, I don't know who you are out there, but if you need to receive it, I typically think that I've got it all together because I meditate and because I've read all the right books. But I'm constantly finding that there's a need to reconnect, you know, with even things you think you know. And I love Oprah's Super Soul Sunday for that. You know, like it reminds me of things that I think that I think I know, but unless you're, I don't know. Some people have all day to think about this shit. Like Eckhart Tolle has nothing to do but sit around and just like think about it. And it's good. I want him to sit around and think about it so that he can give it to me every once in a while when I need to like glob onto that like essence of experience or whatever. Because eventually I have to go back to like the daily up and down.
But that's not like, I mean, that was, you know, he's older. He has had all of the life experiences. He was suicidal.
Yeah, but his story,
and all of this came out of that.
Absolutely. But like what I like about his story in particular is that after he was enlightened, he was like, he got it. Like it wasn't like it was a reversible position, but like even once you've attained that position, you know, there's still work to be done is what I'm saying.
Right. Well, it's never a finite
exactly.
end point.
Yes.
And I just want to say, Juju Beans, thank you, girl. Thank you.
Oh.
Okay. You know, really what it is, it's just the red lipstick. It just brightens up the whole face because I'm as old as I ever was and I'm tired, but thank you.
It's fun. It's fun that we've been doing this for literally years now too, so that people can track the progress of our features.
Speaking of people doing it for years, I want to shout out Crystal and Kid Fury from the Read, because I saw a headline that they recently are moving forward towards their own show on, I believe it's Fuse TV, and they've been in the game for a long time, many years. So there, it just goes to show, don't give up. Stick with it.
On that note, there was a great article about and guys, welcome to the show.
Sometimes we ramble on.
Yeah, we'll get to some important shit. Yeah,
but, you know, we talk about.
We'll get to some important shit.
This is important.
Yeah, but one of the things that I thought was really great was there was a Chicago grandfather. You might have heard about this. There was a Chicago grandfather who took up making beats. Took up making trap beats, and he took them to this local studio in Chicago. Where there are young people making beats. It's kind of like, I guess, like Chaos Network in LA. Mm-hmm. And he played the beats. And at first, the guy who was in charge of the studio was like, all right, so like, who made these? Like your nephew or something? Your grandson or something? Like it's dope. It's really dope. But like, who made these? He was like, no, I made these. And he's like, boy, stop playing. And then he's making beats for these kids in his studio. And like, you know, he's all over the blogs, and I wouldn't be surprised if J. Cole has him on his next record or something. You know what I mean? Like, he's 70 something and he's making trap beats. He's like, he had a whole life. He never was good at musical instruments. Like, he wanted to play the saxophone and things like this, you know, things that were popular in his era, but I guess he was never good at it. And he took this up in his later age because he needed something to do. So he literally went on the internet, looked up tutorials how to make beats, and taught himself how to make beats. Amazing.
You never have to stop learning.
Amazing.
Ever. I would hope. I think that's one of the keys to a longer and more fulfilled life is to stay open to learning.
Yeah, unless you are Donald Trump.
And certainly pursuing the things that interest you.
Absolutely.
Curiosity.
Absolutely. Unless you're Donald Trump. Because if you are Donald Trump, you don't want to learn anything. Instead, you just want to move through the world swinging your tiny hands everywhere, all about this way and that way. So that is my way of segueing into a little Trump be Trumpin'. You know the story, the big story.
Girl, you better get in that garage and make them beats.
Juju, you better be making some beats, okay? Listen, but
you have a whole life story to tell.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? It's criminal that older people that like
how we consider older people disposable.
Yeah, exactly. Like we aren't the ones that have figured something out and have something valuable to transmit. Like Jay-Z has been rapping for 30 years, sure, but he never said anything I could really use in my life until 444. You know what I'm saying? Like until 444, and he gave you the idea of being a husband, moderately successful, right, as a billionaire, about to lose his wife, and in that perspective, like a billionaire, and he's still worried about losing the thing that's most important to him. I think that put a lot of shit in perspective for a lot of dudes.
Well, money does not buy you happiness.
No, it does not. No, it does not. And I've tried. I have definitely spent enough money to test the theory. So
I can co-sign that. I am a witness to that.
It has not bought any happiness. So yeah. But anyway, so Trump has an emergency. A big emergency. Super big emergency at the border. And it's that his ATM card will not work. No matter how many beep, 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 beep. It just won't. The 5 billion, 8 billion, however many billion, it won't come out of the slot. He's tried all the transfers. He's waited the 3 days, all of that.
And the democratically controlled House was trying to pass they did pass.
Oh, they passed it. They passed a rebuke of his declaration.
Like, you know what? This national emergency is fake news, and we are not supporting it.
Like an emergency to us.
And I guess it was almost passing the Senate. Or it did.
So it passed in the Senate.
Because he had to veto it.
Because he had to veto it. And it is the first veto. The very first. Congratulations, President Trump. Congratulations. You have finally done it. I'm proud of you. You're a big boy now. Okay, you've stood up to Congress.
Where's that Nancy Pelosi clap? Give him the look.
You're such a big boy now. Oh my God, your hands are huge. They're huge. So he vetoed it, and as we knew he was going to. Yes, he needs to see. Yes, exactly. Oh my God. If anyone needs a little therapy, it's Donald Trump. But again, like we said, he's not trying to evolve. His therapist is McDonald's. Okay. So he vetoes the bill. So what's going to happen now is that it's going to go to court. And now we have to see whether Chief Justice Roberts is going to do that weird thing where he kind of acts like a liberal sometimes, or whether he's going to just, be the, Bush appointee that he really is. And it's going to be that. He was a Bush appointee, right?
I don't know.
I can't even fucking remember anymore. Oh my God. So that's what happens with that. You're welcome. He's gonna do the thing. He's doing his thing. More important to me.
I'm about to say we have bigger fish to fry.
So many bigger fish to fry. So now the bigger vote that just happened, in my opinion, is the House also voted to recommend that the Department of Justice release the Mueller report. Right. They voted on that. They said, we think it's a good idea if you let us see it.
To the public. Release it to
the public, right. And, of course, whoever that old crusty fucking mummy in the Senate, I can't remember his name right now. Harry Reid?
I thought he retired.
No, it's still him, I think.
Oh.
He's a mummy. He's never died.
Sure?
Harry Reid. Yeah, right? No?
I think he gone.
You might be right. No, it's the turtle. I can't remember his. What's the turtle's name? It's not Lindsey Graham, but
he's Republican.
Yeah, the turtle that runs the Senate now.
Oh, Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell. Thank you. Oh, never leave the house without the Queen. Mitch McConnell will not even take this up as a vote. Will not even consider it as a vote. And my thing is, what looks worse? Does it look worse saying no, don't release the report to the public? Like it's so bad that holy shit.
Clearly, if there's nothing to hide, then release it, and so we can all be like, that was a waste of time. That was a waste of money. But otherwise, it seems like, oh, there must be some shit there.
It absolutely sounds like there is some big shit there. Like it sounds like I don't know. I don't want to speculate because I might say something untoward, and I want to stay rational and reasonable because God forbid that we get overexcited about some megalomaniac or whatever in office who's pursuing his own private capitalistic agenda at the expense of that, millions and millions of taxpayers. That would be nothing, right? Anyway, so that happened. But you know what? It was funny. That's not even the biggest story to me. I don't even really give a fuck about Trump right now.
I really don't either.
I don't even give a fuck about Trump. That feeling that you're feeling right now, not giving a fuck about Trump, what you're feeling, and for me, I don't know. You tell me. I'm a guess. The biggest thing for me this week is, what the fuck is up with these motherfucking college?
Yo.
What's up with these college parents? What the fuck is going on with these college
and
parents?
And this the thing, too, it's a private university. Can't you basically pay to get in?
Can't you just donate?
Anyway? And this the thing too was, okay, so if for some reason you've been under a rock, the scandal come out that colleges have been taking bribes in one form or another to get their kids into these elite universities.
Yes.
Stanford, USC, some other ones. And they've been
surely Harvard and all the big ones.
Some big ones. Some of the what are they called?
The Ivy League.
Thank you.
The League of Ivy.
Clearly, I didn't go there.
The League of Ivy.
And they indicted many of the college administrators, some coach, athletic people who run that department.
Yes.
And some of these parents. Yes. Who were clearly the ones paying the money. Some of the notable ones were Lori Loughlin, an actress. She was on, what's it called? Family. What was it?
I don't know what she was on.
She was on the Family. Full House, and then Fuller House, which was the reboot. So she has apparently, and I mean, not to be totally petty, but she must have a dummy ass daughter because what kind of grades you can't get don't in the US have where you can't get in?
I mean, look, I love my school, VCU. But like the acceptance rate, VCU and USC have similar acceptance rates, and I'm like, I didn't have to pay nothing to get in, and Mel didn't have to pay nothing to get into USC.
What you talking about?
You didn't pay no money to, you didn't bribe anybody, to my knowledge, to get into USC.
I
did
wish.
I'm like, nobody.
I had to repost.
You had to fake being an athlete.
So that's what they did in her case. So they're being charged with a felony charge of conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest services mail fraud. And her daughter, their scandal, their scheme was that she was a crew, rowing,
rowing, right,
like a crew member. And so that was through the athletic department. And USC has an amazing crew team. It's major.
Right.
And the father is big money, Massimo he founder of that company.
Is she married to him?
Yeah.
Well, how does William H. Macy come in?
Well, he didn't get indicted.
Okay, he's not indicted.
I'm gonna stand for my shameless dude. He's a phenomenal actor, and I hope he's not involved in the scandal. This chick I don't really care about. Okay. But his wife, William Macy's married to Felicity Huffman. Now her name
Felicity
is
Huffman.
in there, and apparently they got this chick, Lori Loughlin, and Felicity Huffman on a phone call, basically talking about, who'd you talk to? How much did you pay? And what did you guys do? So for their case, they got their daughter, Loughlin and Massimo's daughter. She in on a crew thing, and they faked a photo of her on a
right.
on a boat, like. You know,
this would be like
when you get an athletic scholarship or whatever, you know, you have to have a profile. You're on the team and all that, so they had to make it look like she
had done the thing.
Does it?
That would be like us doing a video of Langston like doing 3-pointers.
Yes, and like basically him with basketball shooting, and then it would just cut to
it would just
the
cut
switch.
to it going in. Yeah, every
it would
time.
cut to him doing it, or like, you know, like dribbling kind of, but like very short clips because he doesn't play basketball at all. And I mean, she had already been on the internet talking about, I don't know, I'm going to be gone in Europe on these campaigns, and then I'm going to be going to all these countries, and I guess she's a model or whatever. And then she straight up like, so I don't really know. I'm not really going to be there. So I'm just going to have to like talk to my deans and figure it out. And she was like, but I do want the college experience because I really want to, you know, get the experience of like the game.
In college.
She said she wanted to experience the game days and the parties. And she was like, but I don't really care about school.
She didn't even want to be in college.
Unquote, I don't really care about school.
I mean, so the question, the moral question, the big moral question is like, obviously the parents who participate in this are fucked up and they're going to be indicted, and thank God. But like, now the question is like, how do we treat these kids? You know?
Well, they already dropped out.
Okay.
So first of all, she was on a yacht with the daughter of the board of directors of USC for spring break. And then they tried to spin it like she felt it was in her best interest to come home. Oh, really, bitch? Yeah, they coming for your ass. You better come on. And they coming for his ass. If you don't get off his fucking yacht. A lot of people
going down, man.
So
a lot of people going down.
They've since dropped out, but clearly it really calls into question because people are constantly undermining affirmative action. And as someone who went to a predominantly white institution, I have seen firsthand, I didn't get it so much, but I know very well how often some white students will look at you or treat you or straight up say to you that you are there at this institution because you're black. That you got it. Not that you worked your ass off.
For free.
For the grades and the SAT scores and or the athletic skills or the whatever it is that enabled your application to be viewed positively.
That's right.
And you think you're competing basically against the legacy admissions and all the people who can just pay to get in. And here they go. They're paying. They can't even just pay to get in. They literally have to lie and cheat and essentially steal.
Yeah.
So I hope all these fools go to jail. People working at the college and the parents, because and it also is indicative of this idea that I think our society continues to push, that a college education is the only way to have a successful life or to assign value. Again, back to, I'm just going to be coming back to this A New Earth philosophy the whole time. Because again, that's an ego thing. The whole thing is based on ego.
Yes.
The parents don't want their daughter to be seen as dumb, that she can't get into a certain kind of school.
Right. Right.
And then
they don't want to see it be seen as bad parents because they're raising a kid that doesn't want to go to college.
Is not actually applying themselves or does not have the certain skills or aptitude for that certain school.
Yes.
As opposed to just being like, you know what, maybe you should just go here, start at community college, figure out what the hell you do like, or just go on your modeling career, like whatever.
Do whatever. Exactly.
Like, we don't care.
Yeah.
Nobody is looking at the models like, ooh, bitch, you are actually not that pretty because you did not go to college. You know, like, that's not quite how it works.
That's not how.
Or you could pull a Tyra, have an amazing modeling career, and then go back.
Yeah.
Finish college, start college, whatever. I mean, Tyra went all the way to Harvard Business School. So again, I think again, this might be kind of like a white people thing, like, not to generalize, but a certain type of white person who feels like we have to always look good on paper. And that very much trickles down to families of other colors, because everyone's here chasing that semblance and proximity to whiteness and what that looks like, which is very good on paper, good credit, highest, that college degree, travel experience, that house note, that car, that blah 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 blah. So it's very much rooted in ego. And then on the other woman, the whole William H. Macy, they basically pay someone to doctor up their child's SAT scores so that it would be higher. That shit went up 400 points from the PSAT, which is what you can take your junior year of high school, kind of like a trial run, to the actual SAT in your senior year that actually is what colleges will look at.
I like how we assume that y'all motherfuckers did not go to college and thus did not.
I know, but you know what I'm saying? In case things had changed at all, they haven't changed that much.
No.
And it's really a crime against humanity when you can consider the many and numerous black families, and sure, families of other colors, who how many times have we read in the news about mothers going to jail for putting a different address on their
using a relative's address or something like that.
One woman was homeless in the city, but used an address in that city to allow her children to get a better education. One woman was using her father's address, et cetera, et cetera. They are actually going to jail.
They have been convicted.
Convicted. You know, whether, I don't know exactly what the sentencing was in all of these cases, but there are real people going to jail for a crime. Basically, they didn't have the money to do what these people did.
That's right. Well, what it really boils back, you're hitting everything correct. I mean, like, it is ego. First of all, the major thing is ego, is that capitalism is a system built around aggrandizing the ego. It's all about the personal aggrandizement of the person who holds the capital. You know, I was just posting about this having these thoughts this week about how capitalism so effectively, launders sociopathic behavior that we root for the people that can deprive us of the most money. The motherfuckers that can get us to spend the most of our money, like Apple. The fact that they can convince me to spend another $1,000 every 2 years on a goddamn brick that sits in my phone and I fucking just look at pictures on it. Amazing. Mwah! Magnificent. Congratulations to you guys. We reward you with, never-ending rising stock prices and unlimited money and billions.
Knowing about the wars in these other countries where they mine
for the minerals
coltan
and all that shit,
and whatnot that goes
knowing
into so
how
many
these
of
kids,
these
how kids are poisoned in their
microelectronics.
homes.
We got workers at Samsung jumping off the roof of the building because the working
or little
conditions
African
terrible.
children in third world countries where they mine these rare earth metals that are in our phones now. And now we've reached a critical point where there's more of these rare earth metals in our phones and in these technology than there are in the goddamn earth. So at some point, we're going to extract all of these metals, all the vibranium, all of that shit. You don't know what it is. It's vibranium. It's whatever. Like, I can tell you whatever the fuck it is. Y'all don't know. I ain't looking it up.
I feel like that's why the system
what it means.
Is trading your phone after 2 years so they can
That's
break
exactly
it back down.
what they do.
Need
They
to
break
repurpose
it. Yes.
the material.
Yes, there's a finite amount of this fucking magical shit that makes all of this work.
Yo, I saw my boss. I mean, I'll be reading his emails, and he got 2 twin daughters. They're like 14, and it was like time to upgrade the phone. This dude just spent like 2 G's.
Unbelievable.
And basically, I heard him on the phone like, okay, I want to trade in the phone. How much can I get? Because he was mad at me today. I mean, not mad, but he was like, don't do that because I'm paying the bill for something over the phone, and it was like $50 less than what the paper said, and they were like, okay, you can pay it over the phone, but it's a $5 processing fee. And I was like, okay, fine, let's just do it because it's already cheaper than what we thought. And then he was like, what? He was like, ooh, don't do it. And he literally was like, well, basically that's extortion, and if you let them extort you, like, what are you gonna do? And
that's
I was like,
shit.
I know,
that's some old school immigrant thinking right there, isn't
and the other thing they did is, speaking of that old school, his dad owns this building, renovating the second floor, trying to get a tenant, and the tenant's lawyers keep coming back and like not really changing or tweaking the addendum too much and being like, we agreed to this, why y'all saying that? And they basically was like, F it, we don't want it. And these fools, he was looking to make $1 million over 5 years, and he was like, no.
Wow.
And I had to speak up after months of hearing this go back and forth. I was like, do you think that they just thought that you wouldn't turn down the money?
Right. Yeah, apparently.
And he was like, well, I can just tell they don't really know how to do business. There's a way to negotiate and they don't know it.
Wow.
And I even have heard his lawyer that's another thing. This is a bit of a side note tangent, but I heard the realtor come in and basically talk to, or the broker or whatever, talk to the other broker and basically be like, look, they're kind of old school, you know, like they kind of do things on a handshake. So you need to just basically do this, you know, like this is the addendum we use for this guy. He's the biggest realtor, da 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 da. So just do with this language and stop trying to tweak it and try to like wiggle your way into getting all this extra shit, because that's not how they operate. And so this last time,
I get it.
They didn't do that. They didn't just cut all the BS and go with what we have agreed, or they had agreed. And so the dad is 80 and he was already upset. So even my boss, who's in his 60s, was like, look, we're out.
Well, there you go.
We're just going to fix it up, and then we get a new tenant.
There you go from the
old
school.
And that's kind of just, again, knowing your value. Your value is not just, okay, whoever throwing money at you to make you feel good. They're not attached to their ego. They're like, we know what we got.
Exactly. What were we talking about?
Well, you just said old school, and the fact that he was not feeling the $5 processing fee, and how Apple is able to basically get you.
Yes,
by convincing
we root for the sociopaths who want to take all our money.
And
Whoa,
I just saw today,
that is a classic woke with kids tangent.
I just saw today an example of someone who was like, "I'm not rooting for that shit."
Fantastic.
Whether it's $5 or $1 million.
Yes.
And it was a lesson for me. I really was like, oh, okay.
I ain't mad at that. Okay.
I wasn't mad either. Okay.
Then you brought it back. You brought that one back.
Hey, I knew.
You took that tangent as far out as it could go, and you reeled that bitch right back in.
That is really a skill that I'm trying to
I was masterful. Okay. I give you that one.
How can I go on talk shows if I can't tell a story and bring it back?
I was like, where is this? Okay.
Hey, I haven't even finished my little wine, so I can bring it back.
All right, so that was great. So basically, now we have to assume that all these rich kids cheated to get into college because
I think that's what we should start saying. How they would say to the black people, like, oh, you probably in here because you black. You'd be like, oh, who'd you bribe?
And listen,
who'd you bribe to get in here?
Listen, it's clear now. Who
doctored up your photos to get you in here? Who took your SAT? Who changed your score to get you in here?
Nobody is studying. That shit is a fantasy.
I'm just saying. I know that I really had to work hard because.
Oh my God. Okay. So here's some more.
What else is going on?
Some more fucked up shit for you. Okay. Let me see. Here's a one. If this thing will start clicking.
I'm sure it has stuff saved. Let's see. Political wise. Politicking.
So this one was fun. There's been here's things you can file under shit we already know but need scientific evidence to prove. Stanford researchers. Let me show the peoples. So you have, we always quote, we're always documented.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got one.
3 years ago, an unmarked police car tailed Richard Jackson into an alley behind his home on Chicago's west side, and it pulled him over. Jackson, a black Navy veteran, had become used to being stopped by police for what he believed was no reason since returning to Illinois from the military in 2012. God, we all know that feeling. But this time was different. After an officer ran his driver's license, then said he was free to go, Jackson pointedly asked what he had done wrong. The officer, who is white, said Jackson had cut him off, which Jackson denied. The officer then issued Jackson citations for failing to yield at a left turn and stop sign, which Jackson also denied. Although the officer did not allude to Jackson's race, the veteran believed that's why he was stopped. He successfully fought the 2 citations and filed a complaint with the Chicago police. And now, apparently, Stanford researchers have compiled the most comprehensive evidence to date, suggesting there's a pattern of racial disparities in traffic stops.
No.
Get out of here. Guys.
No.
Guys. The researchers provided NBC News with the traffic stop data. And apparently, they examined 1 million traffic stops conducted from 2011 to 2017 across 21 state patrol agencies and 29 municipal police departments, okay? The results showed that police stopped and searched blacks and Latino drivers on the basis of less evidence than used in stopping white drivers, all right? Police pulled over about 20 million drivers across the United States each year. And while the extreme case and excuse me, so I'm trying to read this while I'm talking to you guys. I was looking for a percentage, but I don't see it in this article. I'm just going to say, read this article, but it's one of those things that's like, viscerally is happening until they start taking data. And so why it's important whenever the federal government or like Trump starts saying some shit like, we're no longer going to track this, or we're no longer going to record incidents of this. It's super important to know what we're tracking and the data that we're tracking in order to make this shit like, it's like Wilbur Ross recently on the census, he wanted to start asking the question what your citizenship I cannot say that word.
Citizenship.
Jesus Christ. Citizenship status. Yes, I'm capable.
Citizenship status.
Woo! It's hard to say.
Citizenship status.
Citizenship. That should be the citizenship status test. As if you can say citizenship status 3 times. Can you say that fast, guys? Okay.
No.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So anyways, he wanted to add that to the census, and obviously it wasn't for any like good reason. It wasn't for like, so that we can help them get proper citizenship. No. It was for fucked up reasons. And like, they're not going to include that, and he's got to answer to Congress for that shit. But you've got to ask whenever they're tracking things or not tracking things, why it's important. So like, if they weren't tracking stops in the racial incidents and shit, the racial makeup of the stops in Chicago, we wouldn't even know this. My point is, that's why you can't trust this colorblind shit. Anything that's colorblind, you can't trust that shit because...
Well, that's not real life. I mean, I think
Exactly.
as soon as somebody says something about some colorblind shit, my red flag goes up. My guard goes up because there's color. There's color everywhere. And you are not really being present and aware to reality.
Yeah.
If you are trying to not see color.
Precisely.
In people.
Precisely.
Around you.
Precisely.
That's ridiculous. You're not accessing and acknowledging a person's full humanity if you are actively trying to ignore what you see with your eyes.
Yes. Or what they profess to be their identity.
Right. Because, and that is because, if you truly care about the human, you are open to the fullness of that person and their life experience, which is very heavily influenced by their family, their culture, their race, their gender or non-gender, and at least be open to them expressing that, and then you can decide if you like them or not, or you want to work with them or not. I mean,
that's individuality.
You don't
that's
have
freedom.
to like everyone, but to say, "Oh, I'm not going to see that," or "I'm not going to acknowledge that," is a deficiency in you, not the other person.
That's right, and it deprives society of the ability to help individuals on an individual level, because that's how we identify
because
people.
It's and even more so, people of certain races or sexual identities, etc., abilities are negatively influenced at a higher rate than people who are more, part of the societal norms. So we are actively doing them harm by saying, "Oh, we're not going to acknowledge." Which is why part of you.
Which is why I'm sorry.
Which
is why actually, do you want to get in what you want to get in first? Because I want to talk about Michael Jackson. And I want to.
Yeah, there was did you catch this Arkansas Senator Stephanie Flowers and the gun debate?
I did.
Since we kind of talking politics, I mean, this auntie got livid, but it was so righteous that even the white man she was yelling at couldn't really. Had no good reason to quiet her down.
I gotta find that. There was a great.
The video is astounding. So essentially, they were introducing. It was something to do with the stand your ground laws in the state of Arkansas, and they were trying to cut short the discussion about it before I guess they took a vote. And she basically was like, "That is not okay with me because Black and brown people." Particularly Black and brown young people are disproportionately affected and killed, and their murderers essentially not brought to justice because of their ability to hide behind this law.
Yes.
And she was like, so we need more discussion. She was like, I'm a mother, and these are people that look like me, so I'm very heavily invested. She was like, you and your kids don't have to worry about this when you send them out, so it's not okay. And then they was like, look, you need to calm down. She was like, no, I will not calm down. She said, what are you gonna do, shoot me? She was saying shit and damn. I was like, oh my
Look,
gosh.
She went full Trump on him.
I was like,
she
whoa.
just basically gave no fucks and was like, what? I mean, this is essentially what Trump does every day. He goes, yeah, I think it's a fucking emergency. I don't give a fuck if everyone in the whole country doesn't think it's an emergency. I think it's an emergency, and I veto, and that's what we're doing.
And I think
that's what she
also, it deserves noting that she was not saying, she wasn't arguing about the bill itself. She was arguing the public debate.
Yeah.
The fact that they were trying to limit that, which I think is a really, really, really important part of this, because the idea that our representatives are really not, she just highlighted the fact that so many representatives are not actually trying to represent the people whose districts that they were elected to represent. If they literally will not even listen.
We're talking about the bigger, larger story of America right now being the disease, the dysfunction of our representative democracy. The fact that people are gaming the system of democracy rather than abiding by the spirits of its tenets. It's like we had the Electoral College originally because we didn't want to disenfranchise people who are living in rural places. So, and also because they didn't think that people who couldn't read and write at that time were educated enough to elect their officials directly. So they had to elect people who were smart enough to act in their best interest. The idea being their best interest. The problem is that the people we elect are really only answerable to the people who donate money to them and the lobbyists who enable them to convince us to show up and elect them. So they don't owe us anything at all. And that is because, like Bernie Sanders, like everyone has told you, and from the day you were fucking old enough to know how anything worked, is that money, cash rules everything around me. We know that intrinsically, but we don't know how to get it out of the system. We all want it, so we don't know how to get rid of it. Like, I want money. Everyone wants money. So everyone is susceptible to the argument of, well, what's wrong with a congressman or a senator getting out of office and then wanting to make some money as a lobbyist and working in the field that he knows best, and then turning right back around and using his experience and access for corporations and the Koch brothers or whoever the fuck has enough money to invade our system and focus the debate on a very small, narrow range of issues that benefit them alone, or distract us enough from the issues that they don't want the public to give a fuck about, so that they continue to be billionaires in this Gilded Age. Because, I was just thinking about this the other day, and it just occurred to me. Our entire lives have essentially been lived in the shadow of Reaganomics. Like, our lives began as beings in the shadow of Reagan coming to power and cutting the corporate tax rates from a reasonable 60 to 70% back to like 30%, which they still are to this day. And we wonder why all of this shit is broken and we can't afford Medicare and we're in all these deficits and whatever. We consciously cut taxes on corporate interest rates because and rich people, because the idea was trickle down economics. Remember that? They said that if you let these people keep their money, they're going to do amazing things. They're going to fucking turn into superheroes, and they're going to piss champagne on everybody, and everybody just open up and take a big gulp. The money never can't trickle down to us. We're broker than ever. I probably make the same amount of money my dad made, in terms of the real value of my money 30, 40 years ago. And he was like in a fucking military. He never even became an officer in the military. The point is, money isn't as valuable as, and it's a bigger story about how rich people have bought the political process in order to funnel money up to themselves. At least it was honest in Russia. At least the fucking oligarchs just came out and said, we're fucking gangsters. We're taking all the money. We don't give a fuck who you are.
That's why Trump loves him so much. That's why Trump loves Putin so much.
That is exactly why Trump loves it. He's like, yes, this is a system I understand. He's like, this is a system I get.
Shoots from the hip. That's why people like Trump, because they feel like he's not about that bullshit. But, that's not how it works here. So that's why he can't, it's conflict.
Yeah, man.
So I just want to shout out Arkansas State Senator Stephanie Flowers, because she was like, look, y'all not going to loosen these restrictions on the use of deadly force by gun owners under my watch and limit everybody's talking about it. And I just want to say the bill failed.
Woo!
So, Black women If you can, run for office.
Yes, Stacey
And
Abrams.
speak up.
Look,
and well, yeah, and even
if
more
Beto
so,
O'Rourke,
speak up.
if Beto
Speak
O'Rourke
up.
if Beto O'Rourke is running, I'm ready for Stacey to run.
I didn't
Beto,
get a chance to read the article, but somebody tweeted. They was like, "Yo, Twitter." They said Twitter really gassed up Beto O'Rourke to run for office because, and there was another article that was like, wait, what's his platform? Like, why does he think he should run?
Didn't you just lose to Ted Cruz? No offense. I mean, I know you got close. I know you got mad close, super close. But the last time, like, your kind of person, like Barack Obama won. He was a senator.
This is the thing. I mean, and
what
this
the fuck is
what
going on?
The Democratic Party will have to contend with. Now we got Tom, Dick, and Harry on the ticket for the primary.
It's sexism, y'all.
And we're like, who the hell are all these people?
We have real candidates. Okay, Bernie Sanders, whatever. He's going to run. He's got a lot of gravity. Fine. Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, some other chicken in the snow. I can't remember her name.
The Kristen
Some. Yeah.
Her name is
a bunch of women came out, declared their candidacy. There's one day they showed the speech. Then after that, crickets. All right.
Cory Booker, right? Cory Booker came out.
Cory Booker came out and they gave him a little love. He's dating Rosario Dawson, so he's going to get a lot of play.
Is he really?
She came out and confirmed it. They came out and confirmed it, so they're together now.
But I'm saying he is officially running.
Yeah, he's officially running. No, he's officially running. I'm
saying we got one dude.
Right. But Beto comes out, and day one, all of a sudden, it's like, hallelujah, this dude is the guy.
He's crazy.
It's
Oprah
like,
got him on the show. I can't even listen. I'm like, I don't want to hear about him.
Who is he?
And you know what it is? He's a young, quote unquote, youngish, good looking-ish guy.
Right.
They want that Obama vibe. They trying to push that Obama glow.
Is he mixed?
Onto Beto.
Is he half
But somebody
Mexican?
said his name not even Robert. Like,
I'm like, what is going on?
I can't even right now. Actually.
He is a. I mean,
I don't
look,
even want to. That's
I
a
don't even know,
total sidetrack.
dude.
Actually, that's how I feel. Like, who the hell is that? Like, I remember he was running for the Senate.
He was running for Senate, and then he lost.
So, but the stories that I'm going to be reading and I'm really curious about are where is he coming from and what is his
What's the
story?
platform?
Like, at least
Yeah.
Kamala and Cory Booker, for example, Elizabeth Warren and the other woman, they have been in politics.
Yeah.
So they've kind of seen, and as was Barack Obama.
That's right.
Before he decided to run. So it is a
Did
bit
Beto O'Rourke even hold
weird.
office?
I don't think so.
I don't even know if he held office before.
But the
I'm
fact that
like,
we
yo,
don't even know
what is
already,
happening?
the fact that we don't know already does undermine his credibility
A
from
little
jump.
bit,
It
a
seems
little
like they're
bit.
just throwing him in, and I think the Democrats really are going to have a come to Jesus moment as we get closer to
That's
the
all I'm
primary,
saying.
because already it's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Way too many.
And already it's a distraction.
Yes.
And Trump and his people will easily
slip in. Yeah. Take
Just-
advantage of that. Hijack that.
Yeah, exactly.
Hijack the message.
Yes, because there's so many people talking.
Yes. And it's going to be a problem that we're going to have as a bigger tent. You know, like I'm speaking for myself. I'm a registered Democrat, but as the party expands, the problem with being a big party is that we got a lot of motherfuckers. It's like Braveheart. Like when Braveheart showed up and it was all the tribes of Scotland and they was all, none of them got along with each other, and it was like, fuck you and fuck you and fuck you. And then it's like, all right. And then Braveheart showed up. He was like, no, we got to all work together so we can fuck this dude.
You know what else it's like?
Like
Game of Thrones.
Gosh.
Which is coming back. I'm so excited. I know I'm the one
It is
that's
so
going to
like
keep
Game of Thrones.
derailing
It
the
is.
topics.
No, that's fine. No, that's great. No, that's perfect.
But it's
That's perfect.
perfect because it's like the 5 kingdoms or whatever.
It is exactly
but
that.
winter is coming, y'all.
The GOP
So
are the
y'all
White Walkers.
Need to get it together.
The GOP
okay?
are the White
we
Walkers.
Need to unite.
Okay.
Under the Queen of
Yes.
Dragons.
Yes.
Okay.
Kamala or probably Kamala.
Whoever.
Or,
Let's find out who are second cousins.
right now.
Get them together.
No, I want Stacey. If the guy who lost, at least Stacey Abrams has been elected to public office that I know of.
But she's got her lane now. Her lane is voter.
She said she's not
suppression.
rolling it out. She's not rolling
she
it out.
did? Okay.
Yeah, she's not rolling it out.
Well, hey, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying if Beto can run, then Stacey can absolutely
Look, by November
run.
of this year, we need to figure it
I want Stacey.
out.
I want Stacey. I personally want Stacey run. Please, Stacey, I think you are the one we need. I think symbolically you are the one. I feel like
I am encouraged by
think she is the
people
one.
whose passion and ethical values are really moving them to want to do something.
And Stacey won her election. She was legitimately robbed. They like changed all the laws. I mean, they like unplugged voting booths and shit in Georgia. I mean, like, everyone in Georgia knows that she won and that she got fucking robbed. That's not a mystery. So I'm saying I want someone that can win an election. And Beto O'Rourke, God bless him, he got super close. But I think he lost. I'm gonna have to
watch a couple speeches because
it's gonna take a lot of convincing for me.
I mean, as we get closer, and maybe as we get, we'll do a little special on that, just the candidates, because to watch, I want to see like video after video after video after video.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to see some debates too.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, that as well, but to really already, but even before the debates, like, I should clearly already be able to assess what your vision is for the country, what your platform is, what are your priorities. And I saw a tweet today that I thought was very good. It was just said that I think it was John Favreau. He said, I want all the Democratic presidential candidates to address the rise of white supremacy here in the United States of America and globally in the wake of the mass shooting in Christchurch in New Zealand that killed 49 or injured
49. He killed 49 people at least. Killed at least 49
Muslim worshippers.
Unfucking believable.
Fucking crazy ass white supremacists throwing up his gang symbols.
And then didn't even have the goddamn human decency to fucking kill yourself. Kill yourself. He's not even ashamed of it.
Any of them kill themselves?
Most of them get shot or killed.
You know they don't get shot.
That's true. That's true. They never get shot. They never get shot.
The little white boy who shot up the black church.
That's right.
They took him to Burger King.
They always get taken alive.
Okay, the dude that shot up the Pulse nightclub.
Always.
You know what I'm saying?
Always taken alive. You're absolutely right. But what I'm saying is that normally they're so ashamed of themselves, like in the school shootings, they kill themselves. They shoot themselves.
He didn't kill himself?
This guy did not get. This guy's alive.
The school. You talking about?
No, the Christchurch shooter.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying which one of them killed themselves. I missed that one because there's a lot of white supremacists.
There's a lot of them.
That did not kill themselves.
I'll follow up next time.
Okay,
maybe some of them were shot. Maybe some, but most people would have to remember that when they died. It's a lot of what I'm saying is that at least the terrorists blow themselves up. At least the terrorists.
What I'm saying is the white domestic terrorists.
This motherfucker.
They do not.
He surrendered peacefully.
They do not.
Okay, you got a point. You're right. You might be.
They are taken into custody.
And now he's in custody. And now he has published a screed. It is a list of all the people that inspired shout outs.
I want to hear everybody talk about.
You heard about the list of shout outs,
No, the radicalization of these motherfuckers online. So the same way, if it was a Muslim terrorist, all we would talk about is what he was reading, what website he went to, where he traveled to, who he talked to, what made him da 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 da. And now when it's a white crazy motherfucker, it's like, let's not even give him no light. Let's not talk about him. Let's not talk about. Let's not focus on the.
Well, at least the Prime Minister of New Zealand immediately came out and said, "Oh, gun laws are changing."
Well,
they're changing. She just came out and was like, "Oh no, this shit is not. No, we're islands. We're a tiny island nation. We're not fucking around with this." So at least there was that response. But no, the gunman. He shouted out Trump. He shouted out Candace Owens. He shouted out everybody.
I just saw a photo of him in the courtroom and he was throwing up his gang sign.
I mean,
he was legit. They blurred his fucking face.
Yeah. No,
but
he's a fucking maniac.
Sign was up.
He's a maniac psycho. He's a maniac psycho.
And again, we're not even talking about the rise of that. So I think it's very valid. In addition to economic policy and da 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 da, we need to talk about the rise of domestic terrorism, specifically by those that are outright, declaratively white supremacists.
Trump just came out and said,
"Do you think it's a problem?"
No. He came out and said some shit about the left likes to posture tough, But he said, I think the right has all the tough people. I've got the military. I've got the police. I've got the bikers for Trump. I was like, they're all good people. We play it real cool. But like, if we didn't play it cool, that would be a bad day. Some shit like that, right? So, I mean, Trump is out here and he has this, he's constantly stoking the fucking fire. He's constantly sending the dog whistle out.
One of the only
now the setup, so the setup is, the idea now is that he's setting it up so that in 2020, if he doesn't win, he has already rationalized for people the fucking flagrant public violence, because obviously he was robbed and it was against white people and against the pure white people.
They asked him, do you believe white supremacy is a problem here or whatever? He said, no, not really.
Right, because it's not a problem. It's only a problem when you can't get it.
Continues.
It's only a problem when you can't do it.
So, I mean, so that basically is adding on what you're saying.
Yeah.
All he does is throw out his dog whistles, and he refuses to condemn white supremacy and terrorism by white nationalists, etc. And that way, they don't turn on him before the election.
That's right.
And I feel like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is one of the only who is really calling him out directly and saying so much of what he says has these racial undertones and fucking overtones. And I mean, clear to us.
I mean, if you say that white supremacy is not a problem in America,
to confront it head on.
Yeah.
And it puts her at risk.
I mean, if you say white supremacy isn't a problem in America, then I mean, like you're starting in bad faith. You're beginning in bullshit.
Right before all these motherfuckers came out the woodwork with their guns.
Yeah, I mean, we got to, and that begs the question of also what you were just talking about, Alexandria Cortez. Shit, what was I just about to say? There's so many things going on. But you were saying something that jogged a memory politically going on. That's a kind of a bummer. I can't remember. What other stories do we have that are going on?
You want to segue to MJ?
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. That's the other bummer.
Or, I mean, R. Kelly, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole conversation. It's the whole conversation. I just got thoughts on it. I just got thoughts on it. And
I am not going to be... I have not watched...
I have not seen... I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it. I don't have any intention of it.
That doesn't sound like... I still haven't watched the R. Kelly thing.
It doesn't... I've watched the R. Kelly thing, and that was fucked up because I needed to see that. But the MJ thing, I didn't need to see it because, frankly, and guys, I frankly do not give a fuck what you think of me for thinking this. But while MJ was alive, the whole time he was alive, if you would have asked me if I would have let my kid sleep in the bed with Michael Jackson, the most famous pop star in the world, I'm like, you out of your motherfucking monkey ass mind. You out of your monkey ass motherfucking mind. What the fuck is wrong with you? Are you crazy?
What was it, like 99, 2003? Whenever that trial happened.
Right.
I was relatively young.
Yes.
Grew up with Michael like everybody else.
Everybody loved Michael.
Okay. Saw the TV movie.
Yes.
Saw the fucked up childhood.
Yes.
Okay?
Terrible.
Saw the whole.
Cried for Michael. Cried.
We've been there. We see the whole thing. Now, when he was acquitted, I have to admit, I was surprised. We
were all surprised. We were like, wow.
Okay.
We got some good ass lawyers.
And part B, because he legally was acquitted of the crime, I thought, okay, I'm not going to go around say he's guilty.
No.
Okay. In a court of law, he was not proved guilty. But
he OJ.
He totally fucking OJ.
You OJ. You good. You good, my nigga. Hey.
He like topped OJ.
He didn't abuse no black kids either. He was real particular, apparently.
I never met a person who didn't think there was still something suspect going on.
Come on, y'all.
And that there were not still some inappropriate behaviors and relationships with children.
That's all.
The only thing I was willing to say was perhaps he did not sexually abuse by law these children. And again, I wasn't there. I didn't read no transcripts. But I said legally, I will say that was what was determined.
Yes.
But there was never a moment where I thought, oh, no, he's normal like the rest of us. No. And I would send my child there as often as both of them wanted to go.
I will go so far as to say,
because he is an adult and I have a child.
I would say this. Okay, on the worst case scenario,
period.
At worst case scenario, was he jacking off the little boy's booty holes and buying them engagement rings? Okay, I don't know if it was that bad. Maybe there's some hyperbole in there. I'm willing to admit. Okay. On the other hand, do I think that it is at all appropriate to make two little white boys or any little boys your best friends, separate them from their parents, and then traipse around the world with these two children as your entourage or whatever? No,
I really don't. I mean, and again, I have not watched either documentary, but I really don't see the difference between R. Kelly and what he's done.
I don't see the difference.
Young black women and what Michael Jackson did to young whatever color boys, because again, we are talking about a relationship between an adult and a young person. So even if there is no technically sexual abuse, there is very much, without a doubt, a discrepancy in power dynamics, emotional development and maturity, psychological development and maturity, and then add in that Michael was clearly suffering from trauma.
Come on.
Okay.
We gotta be real.
Very much so a psychologically disturbed person who also created the most amazing music and entertainment show. Okay. That is like not debatable.
Undeniable. Very talented person. But apparently you can create amazing things with torture.
In the same way that with R. Kelly, you think, well, what were the parents doing? I have to also look at, with the Michael Jackson situation, what were these parents thinking?
Well, listen. The main thing.
Let me just say this. Okay. And then I will not say a thing.
Yeah.
I would not let my 10-year-old have a sleepover with an adult.
Fuck no.
Okay? The sleepovers that my child has gone to are to spend time with and sleep next to in his own sleeping area with other children, supervised only by adults that I know. There is in no way a time where the adult and my child have the relationship.
Never.
Where I am excluded, and the plan is for the sleepover to happen between them two. Never. That is outrageous. As a parent, that is outrageous.
Yeah.
Parents think that is okay and to approve it. If my child want to hang out with an adult, guess who's gonna be there? Guess who the fuck gonna be up there in my jammies?
Yeah.
I'll bring my blankie. Yeah. I'll bring some popcorn.
We can all hang out.
We will hang
Michael,
the fuck out.
you and me can all sleep in this bed tonight.
We will all hang out.
Yeah.
Okay, all you want to hang with my child?
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna be there because you're.
I'm with that.
Okay, I'm done.
I just want to say the main thing that I've been finding the biggest argument that they have is that the two white boys perjured themselves.
Oh, the first time?
Right. Yeah. So that's the biggest thing. Yeah. Okay. Good thing we're still talking about R. Kelly, because Aaliyah married R. Kelly with her parents' help when she was 15, 16 years old.
Oh, I thought she did it without them. When they found out, they was like, no, bitch, you can't know.
You're right. No, her parents did.
Her parents did not co-sign that.
Right. But she got married to him, and then she lied on TV. She wasn't in a court of law, so she didn't perjure herself, quote unquote. But when she was asked by people, she'd be like, no, of course not. That never happened. I didn't, da-da-da. So the idea that these boys couldn't sit in a court of law and lie for Michael Jackson one time. Why is this such a stretch of the imagination? Why is this such a stretch of the imagination, man?
Let's not pretend like you don't remember what it's like to be a child and want the approval of an adult that you admire and adore. And
Jackson.
Michael fucking Jackson.
The way you feel about Michael Jackson, the way you defended Michael Jackson right now, that's how that kid felt. That's how that
like
boy
times a million. You're a fucking little boy. You like to sing and dance. Michael thinks you're amazing. Michael thinks you're special. Yeah, you're gonna say whatever the fuck he wants.
And the other argument,
even if you're not okay with what is happening and you feel some kind of way, you don't think I want that motherfucker to go to jail.
Yeah, you can't be. He doesn't want to. He doesn't. He's ashamed now. He's conflicted now talking about Michael Jackson. He's conflicted
love
right
their
now.
Abusers every fucking day.
Look, I love my mama. She beat the shit out of me.
Lord.
I'm just saying.
But
look, 100%. I'm just saying, real talk.
It is not like this black and white thing.
No.
That's why it's so complicated.
And then the second argument they want to say is how he's really just trying to get money because he was involved with the This Is It tour and he got fired from various opportunities on and stuff. It's like, maybe not. That's besides the point.
Can coexist.
That's besides the point.
We live in a capitalist society. Who the fuck don't want money?
Who the fuck don't want money? Who don't need money? Who don't need money?
Raise your hand if you're not trying to get money.
I ain't talking about want money. Who don't need money?
Raise your hand if you're not trying to get money.
We will wait.
And secondly, he probably trying to pay off that therapy bill.
Let's see. It might be comments on this.
We might need to pay up. We might need. Wait, what?
It's so many, the comments don't be always coming through until later. But yeah, I mean, look, my main thing is that I love Michael, okay? This is the thing that people understand. I love Michael because I watched the story of him growing up. I saw him as a young man. I saw him fuck his face up for you, for me, for all of us because he thought that's what America wanted. He thought that's what those white people wanted from him. That's what they needed from him because he was ashamed of his blackness. He cut his face up and black America still loved him. We still embraced him and we still held him close to us and we still embraced him. And he told us all this bullshit about vitiligo, all this bullshit, now we see models with vitiligo. Am I saying it right?
Vitiligo.
Whatever. Vlago. They got that Vlago. And we've seen these models and we see it don't work that way. You know what I'm saying?
No, it does.
It bleaches them entirely?
No.
No, it don't bleach them entirely. Okay, I'm about to say. Okay, clarify.
The doctor said he had vitiligo, so he would look like the model Winnie Harlow, who I feel like you were referencing.
Okay.
But because he didn't want to be like have the splotches, he just went all white. He bleached it so it was consistently the lighter color where the melanin was not there.
I see. And it just so happened to coincide with the nose and all the other stuff. That just all was just a coincidental. That was all a coincidental convergence.
Coincidental. Okay, that just happened to be something else that had happened. What had happened was he had vitiligo and he lightened the whole thing.
Hey, we love Michael. Michael gave us so much entertainment.
Really what it is too is people. I mean, and again,
I'm watching The Wiz.
I totally
I'm listening
get
to
it
all of
because
that.
people are coming down hard on Bill Cosby. Don't fucking watch the Cosby Show.
Yeah,
fuck that.
Yeah.
People are coming down hard on
You can also
R. Kelly.
kiss my ass on the Cosby Show. I definitely will watch the Cosby Show.
No, I think that we should show Langston
I thought the Cosby Show. You out of your monkey ass mind.
We should show a different world. Like,
listen, I read. Look, if my son is learning the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, all written by slave-owning rapists. I mean,
this is the thing too. The idea that it's so binary. This is part of the problem. So whether it's you're male or female, you're gay, straight, like this whole binary and black and white got to fucking go. That is not real life, okay?
It isn't.
Motherfuckers
it's
do
only
fuck
one.
up shit. And
it's
you know what
love.
else they do? Create amazing
That's
art.
Right.
It happens.
Evil and good are one love.
It's
all one love.
Again, we all have that within us.
Yes.
We all have a shadow side. We all have it, y'all.
We all have it. Yes.
So I get it. We coming down hard on R. Kelly. Fuck that music. We not gonna listen to it.
Yes.
And then we found the one most precious. The precious is Michael.
Yes. The pure,
and we don't want to.
And we thought he escaped. We thought he died in time. Well, we were like, "Oh, he got out! Oh my god,
he did.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But you living in a new age now. You living in the media age now.
This is the awakening. I'm telling y'all.
Yes,
Eckhart might
all the stories will be telling
something.
No. They've been saying this since the 70s. The age of Aquarius is now.
It's really here now.
It's now. The age of Aquarius.
That's why we got Me Too.
Yes.
That's why we got all this immigration shit.
Yes.
That's why we got all of it because the awakening is happening.
Why hip hop took over everything.
Are talking about it.
That's right.
And you know what? It's not it's not to lead you to say, fuck this guy, he's okay. It's to really say, okay, and hear me when I say this. It is to really point you towards yourself.
Yes.
Y'all,
absolutely.
I don't always say things that make sense, but this makes sense.
It's a lot of sense.
Even the MJ thing, all of it is really to reflect back to you.
Yes.
For you to look inside and begin that awakening and continue that, and to reflect on your blind spots and where is your shadow side popping up.
Yes.
And
Who are
where
you
you're
hurting?
fucking up.
Yes.
Where are you doing harm
Yes.
that you have excused and people have allowed you to excuse and enabled
Society
you
says it's
because
okay.
you contribute a certain way.
Yes.
Because you make a certain amount of money.
Yes.
Because you look a certain way. Because
Yes.
you do some good things.
Absolutely.
Guess what, everybody? We are complicated, complex human beings, and we
Yes.
all have traumas. And if you don't address that, if you continue to run and hide from it, it will continue to pop up. And then 50 years later, people are going to be like, fuck that motherfucker. But you know what? If you come out and you're like, you know what? I am working on it. I am evolving. They're going to give you your job back just like they did James Gunn.
James Gunn
for Guardians of the Galaxy
is
3.
directing Guardians of the Galaxy. And you know what?
He's still doing
I couldn't
silly.
be happier.
Honestly, I'm not mad at it.
I couldn't be
I'm not mad at it. He
goddamn
immediately copped to murder.
happier.
He immediately copped to murder. And you know what? I'm not blind.
couldn't be happier.
I'm not blind to the game. He got the complexion. What is
For
it?
the protection.
He got the complexion for the protection.
Yeah, he do.
He got the complexion for
yeah,
the
he
protection.
do. Yeah, he do. But you know what?
But he
It
also
was-
copped to murder from jump. He
Yes,
didn't try to
and-
pull a Nate Parker and
No.
be like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Why y'all
No.
coming for me? No.
Nope. He owned it, and he was vindicated because it was a right-wing hack job, and we shouldn't take their fucking accusations and their threats seriously because they are acting in bad faith and they don't care about actual
But I
racial
think
harmony.
more importantly, to my earlier
Yes.
point, he reflected on himself
Yes.
and his own fucking actions
Yes.
and took accountability for
Yes,
what
he
the fuck
did.
he said and what the fuck
universe
he
met him.
wrote.
Yes,
And he didn't try to downplay it
That's
and
right.
somehow make it okay.
that's right. That's right.
And, on the spectrum of harm, it was on the lower side.
Little bit.
Little bit.
Little bit.
And at this point, it is a challenge because Michael's dead. Michael is gone.
Michael's gone, y'all.
He cannot.
There is nothing at Michael's
account for
expense anymore.
himself.
And also, y'all got to stop saying stuff at Michael's expense. There ain't no expense of Michael. Michael is gone.
Yes.
What you talking about are memories and money. That's all y'all talking about. And y'all
Which,
can't hurt
again,
him
it's
no
not
more.
your money.
It's not your money.
So,
But they
again,
are your memories. And that's why you feel away. They are your memories.
And that's okay.
Yes.
Because you still love somebody or things that has caused harm does not make you a bad person.
No, it does not. You love this country, don't you?
Black and white, this binary, it's not real. You have to let that go. And to feel like, oh, I like this, that means something. That's that ego shit.
That's that ego shit, yo.
Y'all, he needs to hear me.
Yes.
That's that ego shit.
That ego wants to tell you that you are all
Everybody feeling some kind
good.
of way.
Yes.
Everybody feeling some kind of way. Like, oh, I'm not giving up Michael. Fuck that. Da, 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 da. I love Michael. Michael till I die.
Yes.
What the fuck?
What
Your ego is so large right
Yeah.
now because who you really are at your core ain't got shit to do with what Michael did.
Nothing.
And even more so, what I'm gonna tell
Unless you out there
Langston,
touching kids.
as he grows and matures and is at an age appropriate, we're gonna talk about Michael.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about Cosby.
Of course we are.
If
Just
you
like we
hear
talking
our-
about Elvis. Just like we talking about.
we talk about
Jerry Lee Lewis.
like Woody Allen. Miles Davis.
I
mean, we are gonna go through.
They all did it,
Malcolm
y'all.
X,
There's a
we
lot.
are
Malcolm
going
X.
to talk
Yes.
about it
A lot
because,
of them.
and I think also what people need to also maybe take in. What's so valuable to me about being honest with our youth about the complexities of being a human being. That way, they don't have self-hate towards themselves every time they fuck up. Come on now. Y'all need to let your kids know that we all make mistakes, that no one is out here perfect. Let them know that they still have value in our love no matter what the fuck they do. I totally was mad at my son because he was pissing all over the place and doing all this bullshit. And before he went to bed, you know what I said? I said,
the little one.
I said, I love you. I said, even when you are doing this bullshit and you're not going pee-pee in the potty and you're not listening, I don't like that, but I love you no matter what.
Yeah.
I think he was tired. He was just like, okay, I don't know if he got it.
They
but I
always
made
get it.
sure I said it.
They always get their sponges.
I will
They always
never
get it.
equivocate. They have to know. You have to teach that, because otherwise, like we did in the 80s, you start to think you do something bad, you are bad.
Yes.
You are a bad person.
Yes.
But we are all in the age of awakening and enlightenment. So that's why we can talk about these things, because we can say, okay, you have value, you're a human being, but because you are now aware, you have to move towards better actions. What did Maya Angelou say? Once you know better, fucking do better.
Do better. Yeah.
So we can learn from Michael. We can learn from this R. Kelly shit. It's not that you're a bad person if you listen to R. Kelly. Like, I'm not here to tell you that. Maybe I don't want to listen to it.
Ain't my thing anymore. Yeah, not my thing.
When I reflect back on it, that's not giving me any pleasure anymore. Okay.
And the music is mostly whack, y'all.
It's
Listen
really
to
not.
it. It's not
Compared
that
to
good.
Michael,
Yeah,
it's like not
it's not that good.
Not
Yeah.
even. But
you can live without it.
It's not something that you have to draw this dividing line, because everything can be a teachable moment for yourself, most importantly, and especially for our youth as well.
That's it, y'all. I think that's it. I think that's a home run. I think that might be the new format for Woke with Kids too. Is we just gonna give y'all a sermon on whatever just happened.
I mean, I just see it so clear. That's why I was like, damn, Eckhart, you are right, because you can bring it all back to that. What else we got?
That's
just
it.
A little bit, nothing?
No,
oh, come on now. Let's talk about Governor Gavin Newsom putting a moratorium on the death penalty here in California.
I think we just talked about it. It's a great
That's
thing.
It.
That's
all
a great
I'm saying.
thing. That's a great thing.
And
that is a great
there's
thing.
others, but I guess it did get late.
Yeah, it's late. Shout out to K Da. Shout out to Two Awkward Millennials. Shout out to Just Say Words podcast. Shout out to Two Squares podcast. The John Effect podcast.
Thank y'all. We've been gone for so long.
Y'all so long.
Y'all so like.
Y'all so down. Y'all are down, man. I appreciate y'all family. Y'all always amplify us and shout us out whenever we come back on.
I'd be mad because I got my podcast I listen to weekly. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on here, Oprah?
Shout out to
Where is the cash? So thank you.
Shout out to Damn We Grown. Shout out to Black Guy Who Tips. Shout out to the Read again. Congratulations on the new show. Shout out to our friend of the show, Bossy Ikpi, who has a new book coming out. I'm telling the truth, but I'm lying. She wants to be on
that title.
She wants to be on. She's going to be on the podcast. Wants to be. I want her. I want her on the podcast.
I want her on the podcast,
and she has agreed to be on the podcast soon. So she'll be on the podcast soon. You should do another episode of your show with her.
Oh, that's a good
That
one.
would be phenomenal.
That would be good. Oh, that'd be really good.
Good content. Okay.
All right, let's have her on this one first so I can kind of get the vibe. And then also, I mean,
do some
shout
research.
out to myself. I'm doing a show again. We're doing with my theater crew.
Yeah, talk about
Town
that.
Street Theater. We are doing Year of the Woman in response. Year of the Woman still, because that is a show we did last October 2018. We're bringing it back, slightly revised. For 2019, it's going to be playing Saturdays at 8, Sundays at maybe like, I don't know, like 6, 5. Don't know exactly. In April at the Stella Adler Theater in Hollywood, California. So if you are in our area, in the Los Angeles area, please come check it out. We tell a myriad of stories of women's experiences through various scenes, monologues, movement, dance, etc. And so that being said, that's why I've kind of been just busy. But as we get through rehearsals and go into the run, then I would be happy to bring a new guest onto Off the Page with Melissa Kay, which is slang.
Which will be episode 3.
Yeah. Hey.
We specialize in quality, okay, not quantity. Shout out to Nika. Shout out to the podcast brothers. Shout out to Two Squares podcast. I think I said that one already, but I'm just going through some of the people.
Thank you. Honestly, anybody who's still listening, like, God bless you.
Gracious. Y'all really like, and thank you for liking episode 15. Nancy Pelosi is alpha so much.
Whoa,
what the fuck and shit? Y'all really like that
Have
episode.
We forgotten that
I wonder we must
before?
have got posted to some like blog or something that day or something, because that's outrageous.
Well, we had over 1,200.
I mean, we normally get like 400 or so, but like, good gracious, wow!
That must have been when she did the clap.
It was the clap,
and Cardi B did her thing.
Yeah, it was a good. Speaking
of Cardi B, she's been pretty quiet. I mean,
working on a new record, I hope. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in.
You're the shit.
Have a blessed weekend.
Yeah,
Pay
be
your
good.
taxes. Just get it out of the way, y'all.
Pay your taxes, or fast forward and travel in time where there are no taxes. Whatever you pay for. All right, until next time. Stay woke.